Hello, welcome back to another episode of Why a Comic Book So Addictive. Um, I just got back from a trip to Boston. I went up there for Thanksgiving this year. I took the family up there, and from the thumbnail of this video, hopefully I load it correctly. You can see the picture of me and my son Anthony in front of Newberry Comics. The last time I stepped into Newberry Comics was probably 2003. I moved to Florida in 2004, the spring of 2004. So it's been over 12 years since I stepped in, and a lot has changed. A lot has changed, and that's one of the things I miss the most. I think you know regardless if I'm no longer buying new stuff or slow down my buying habits significantly in the past few years and going forward in the next decade, because comic books are so addictive, I will always stop in a comic book store whenever I see one, wherever I travel. So I did not plan to go to Newberry Comics. I took the family to Boston, visit my father, spent Thanksgiving with the family. It was fantastic. We were there for a long time. This is probably one of the longest trip. Usually we go up there different time of the year. Could be August, could be October when my dad's birthday is. For those that follow my channel enough, in years past, I have switched up the different day of the different time of visiting Boston. Depend on the work schedule. I make a point to go up there once a year. My dad is 81. He's healthy, so hopefully he'll be around for a few more years to see Anthony grow up. But I took the family to downtown Boston, Faneuil Hall, to show the Christmas trees, and actually Hillary Clinton was there, so there was a big crowd of people there to listen to Hillary, not me. But as we're walking around window shopping, there you go, Newberry. I have no idea how many locations they have. I've been to the one on Newberry Street the most. I used to work maybe 10-minute walks away from the one on Newberry Street. But so I just went into this one, and wow, what a big difference it has been. It's been 12 years. I'm sure the store has changed. Even before this, even in 1991, 1992, even in, the first time I stepped into a Newberry Comics was 1990. I moved to Boston in 1989, and then I got my job downtown Boston in late 1989. To be exact, on my birthday, November 13, 1989, was my very first day working for corporate America, where I had to wear a suit and tie. So shortly after that, I discovered Newberry Comics on Newberry Street. And then once I moved to Cambridge, Somerville, then I went to the Newberry Street store in Cambridge. It's just as often as the one in Boston, but even back then, the store was mostly about music. Not sure why they call it Newberry Comics. There is no back issue section. The comic section, even back in 1990, was not very big. You're talking about maybe a couple shelf. It's not a rack. It's a shelf, a bookshelf that maybe 10 feet long, with multiple shelves from bottom to up, and then they had a pull list. Okay, I had a pull list where I pick up a dozen books or so, and they pull it for me. But one thing I didn't like about Newberry Comics was because they're not really a comic book store. They don't really handle the comic books all that carefully. A lot of time when I get the books from the pull list, it's always beat up. or have a few corner dings and stuff like that. So it's quite annoying. But um, but I had the pull list, and lucky enough, the store had other things there that was a lot of fun. Newberry Comics, back then the comic book section was maybe 10% of the store. The other 90% is all music. Okay, you're talking about rows and rows and rows of CDs, even used CD. I used to go there and browse through the used CD, buy a lot of CDs for $5 or less, and then vinyl. So you have CDs, vinyls, new music section, and then you have rock T-shirt and rock poster. Okay, that's basically dominate the store. Well, a lot has changed. As I went into the store this past weekend, it was Saturday. Surprisingly, you figure Thanksgiving shopping weekend, Faneuil Hall would be extremely crowded. There was more people there to see Hillary Clinton than people walking around shopping. Newberry Comics was not busy whatsoever. Not busy whatsoever. And this store was fairly large. There's two floors. The first floor is small. That's where the main cashier is, and basically it's just T-shirt and hundreds of those Funko Pops. Those figures, the little figure that I see a lot in many people videos. They have all the superheroes. They have all the Star Wars stuff, but they gotta be hundreds, rows and rows and rows of those Funko Pops thing, and then that's it. That's the first floor. T-shirts and Funko Pops, and maybe some keychain stuff. That's it. And then you go upstairs. Upstairs is probably 5 times bigger. Okay, it's quite large upstairs, and it's all it's mostly once again more Funko Pops, coffee mugs, lots and lots of T-shirt, sweatshirt, caps of all kinds. Not just superheroes. You're talking about Star Wars stuff. We bought a T-shirt for Anthony, Star Wars T-shirt, but a lot of pop related T-shirts and sweatshirts, banners, poster, you name it. And then the music CD section is now pretty small. You're talking about maybe 10%. As far as 10% of the store is where the CDs is, and it's tiny. It's very small. I didn't even bother walking over there because I can just see from far away that it's not much of anything there. Digital music has certainly changed that industry. And then the comic book section it was small before. Now it's even smaller. Before, I'd say the shelf space was about 10 feet long. Now it's more like 5 feet. I can literally, my arm can stretch the distance of the shelf. And when I was there, Anthony and I flipped through it. And yes, comic book are addictive, and it's not easy for me not to buy something. But I've been pretty good at resisting buying anything. But Anthony picked up a book that he actually really liked, so I gotta go to my store down here and see if I can find the first issue. This one. Plants vs. Zombie. He played the game, but he saw issue 2 of 3, Garden Warfare. He actually was excited, and he actually read it right away when he get home, and love it. And he asked me to buy him other issues, so I will put this on my shopping list going forward as I stop in the store. It's $2.99. Not It's okay. I prefer to be $1.99, but I can splurge a little bit for Anthony. Now, when I was there, Dark Knight, the Master Race #1 was on the rack. They had 5 or 6 different versions of the cover. I wanted to buy the black cover. I wanted to buy the standard black cover with I think Andy Kubert. where they show the back of Batman, mostly black cover. It looked pretty good, but because of the black covers and the way the store is, all the black covers all dinged up. Have all kind of thumb creases and bend, and so I looked through the 5 or 6 copy they had, and everything was so beat up. And then they have a blank variant, not a fan of those, and then they have that, and then they have 3 or 4 other one. I looked through most of them, and they all was dinged up, but this one. I looked, and finally I was able to find a copy. The obsessive compulsive person in me need to find a near mint copy, so I looked real hard to be able to find one. I didn't care if this was a Newberry Comics exclusive. What the big deal? Okay, not a big deal, but at least this one is in really pristine condition, and I actually read it. It's okay. I'm not sure I will buy the second issue. The last time I bought a book off the rack and paid full price like this was when Ragnarok came out. The Walt Simonson came out. So that's the last time I bought. And I'm waiting for that to finish and buy the trade. But for now, I read this. It's okay. Certainly, they left the last page with a lot of enough hook for me to like curious to see what happened in the next issue. I probably will browse through the next issue for sure the next time I go to the store whenever it came out. I'm not sure I will buy it. I might. For sure I will buy the next issue of this book and trying to find issue number 1 for Anthony. But yes, so I'm sure other people have bought this. I don't need to talk more about this book because other people have plenty of review online on how I watched some of the review, and in general I think a lot of people really liked it. I even heard some review that people like it more than the first Dark Knight. Now that's whack. Okay, this, I hate to say it, is no Dark Knight. Okay, it might be better than the second series, but anyone that picked this up and read it and said the art and story is better than the Dark Knight, woo, okay, whatever. Everybody have their own taste, but I would respectively disagree. As far as the art inside, I'm torn. I like Andy Kubert a lot. I'm not sure I want him to continue to trying to mimic Frank Miller for the entire series. Go back to what he's doing. I like his art. He's fantastic. I don't think he need to mimic Frank Miller for the entire series. So in that, I'm wavering that I prefer Andy Kubert to draw it his way, not trying to. I'm not sure how other people feel about that, but for me, I prefer Andy to go do his own thing. Okay, no need to mimic Frank Miller. But that's it. Yes, as much as I try to be completely free of comic books, it is still addictive enough for me to pick up a book here and there once in a while. I'm showing it just to show you guys that I'm not poo-pooing on everything new all the time. I do buy a few books here and there. I don't show it because there's no need to. I don't do review of them because there's no need to. But for a few bucks, $5.99. Anyhow, comic books are addictive. What can I do? Thanks for watching. Bye.